That happened 5 days ago. I worked from 9 in the morning until 5 in the evening. After finishing work, I was taking a break in a nearby park with an ashtray, smoking a cigarette. Suddenly, in front of the bench, there was an old man dressed strangely, sitting and staring at me. I thought it would be best not to make eye contact, so I was playing with my phone while smoking. After smoking 2 cigarettes, I stood up to leave, and at the moment the old man also stood up and beckoned me as if to say, "Come here." By the way, the old man was dressed in a fluffy jacket like the ones you can find at Uniqlo, Puma pants that made a swishing sound, and a plain black cap. His beard extended down to about his collarbone. His appearance was very suspicious, so even though he gestured to me, I thought something might happen, and tried to ignore him and go home. At that moment, the old man said something loudly. "Hey!" Startled, I got a little scared, but fearfully approached him. Then a sweet aroma of tea wafted from this old man. He made me sit on the bench next to him, and I sat there, feeling like he might be trying to recruit me into some religion. And then the old man asked me one question. "Do you think this world is only one?" At that moment, I said, "Huh? What are you talking about right now?" Then the old man started talking. He said that there are many worlds that people don't realize, and he can travel between them, and it's incredibly mysterious and fun. After about 15 minutes of talking, the old man said one thing. "Do you want to go?" I said, "No, I don't want to." Then the old man said, "Do you think I seem suspicious? You think I do, right?" "Oh, I thought it looked like a religious thing." Hearing him say that made me even more frightened. He said, "Alright, shall I guess what you're imagining in your head right now?" I thought, what is this guy saying? So I decided to flood my mind with images of an idol being raped. What do you think the old man said in response? "A girl is being raped, right? Is she from TV Idol?" he said. I got goosebumps and wanted to run away immediately. I tried to shake off the old man and escape, but my legs wouldn't move. They really wouldn't move. However, I could feel my upper body trembling. As I trembled, the old man said, "It's okay, calm down," and patted my shoulder. Suddenly, the trembling stopped, and my legs felt lighter. Then I was suddenly overwhelmed by extreme drowsiness and lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was already lying in bed. I checked the clock and it was already evening. I had no memory of how I got back to my room, and I even questioned whether this was the apartment where I lived. I felt hungry, but there was no food in the house. I couldn't find a refrigerator either, so I decided to go to the convenience store. The convenience store I casually stopped by seemed different. The automatic door opened not sideways, but upwards. When I entered the convenience store, I was surprised to find that all the food items were canned. I couldn't believe it, and I was astonished. I wanted to buy something like cup noodles, but I couldn't find any. In frustration, I grabbed about 3 dessert-like canned items, and also noticed transparent boxes with something like rice balls inside, like bento. I put those in my basket and headed to the cashier. As an aside, the cashier lady was incredibly cute. However, I couldn't understand her language. She looked completely Japanese, but she was speaking a language I had never heard in the world. The total amount appeared on the cashier's monitor, and then I suddenly realized I didn't have my wallet in my pocket. I started fumbling around in my pockets, and somehow a wallet with banknotes appeared. I used the money to pay. I decided to return home as it was and have the food I bought. First, I opened the canned food. Inside of the can were small white spherical objects, about the size of marbles packed closely together. There wasn't any particular smell. When I touched one of those spheres, it was incredibly elastic and soft. It felt like having very tiny balloons in my hand. I put one of them into my mouth and bit down. The sphere burst, and a liquid started to circulate inside of my mouth. It tasted like cider. but it was so delicious that I'd never tasted anything like it before. Lost in the experience, I quickly finished all 3 cans I had bought. I feel a bit relieved since I had been feeling somewhat distressed after finding myself in this strange world. Next, I opened the transparent box containing what looked like a bento Japanese box lunch. Inside there was grilled meat with sauce wrapped around a white rice bowl. It was also incredibly delicious. After finishing my meal, I decided to take a bath. I entered a room that seemed like a bathroom, but something was off. The toilet bowl was placed in a partitioned space on the left side after entering the room. The toilet itself wasn't much different from the ones I was used to. The peculiar thing was that the toilet seat was made of a soft material almost like a sponge. In what seemed like a shower room, there were only white walls surrounding me, and there was nothing else. There was no shower head or faucet. I wondered if this was really a bathroom. Then I noticed 2 buttons on the wall, one blue and one yellow. There were some characters next to the buttons, but I couldn't understand them. They were written in kanji and hiragana, but it was not Japanese. I decided to press the blue button first. Suddenly, a fine lukewarm mist started spraying from countless tiny holes in the walls. It felt incredibly pleasant. It seemed like this was how you took a shower here. Curious about the purpose of the yellow button, I pressed it. The ceiling about me opened up, and fluffy foam started falling down. The room quickly filled with foam. I realized this was probably soap, and the idea was to wash your body with this foam. The sensation of the foam was incredibly pleasant. After washing up thoroughly and rinsing myself with a wall shower, I went to bed. Speaking of which, this bed was also unique. It was embedded in the floor of the room. Below the light switch in the room, there was a red circular button. When I pressed it, the bedroom floor slid horizontally and opened, bringing the bed up from below. Pressing the red switch again caused the bed to be automatically stored beneath the floor, and the opening closed. This allowed the room to be used for other purposes when the bed wasn't in use. It was an amazing piece of futuristic technology. I woke up around 9 in the morning. When I opened the window, I saw a lot of commuters and children on their way to school. The road was, of course, filled with cars. But the cars looked odd. There was something odd about their shape. Typically, a passenger car has front seats for the driver and the passenger next to it, with back seats allowing 2 or more people to sit side by side. However, the cars I saw here had only a single seat in the front just for the driver, and the back seats were the same, with space for only one person. These cars were vertically elongated to accommodate this seating arrangement, and the back seats resembled a long, partitioned seating space, much like a limousine. The car had doors corresponding to the number of seats. Come to think of it, there were plenty of cars on the road, but I didn't see a single motorcycle. It was quite a strange world, and I was marveling at it. I was getting irritated because I had run out of cigarettes, so I decided to take a walk. Grumbling to myself about the old man who had brought me to this strange world, I saw him sitting on the bench in the park. I did a double take. I immediately rushed over and said, "You brought me to this world out of nowhere, so please send me back to my original world." He calmly replied, Now, calm down. How was it? This world is quite different from yours, isn't it? I put some money in there for you, so you shouldn't have any inconvenience." I responded, "Well, it was kind of fun, but I don't want to come back here ever again. Please do it right now." Inside, I was feeling incredibly anxious. The old man said, "All right then," and lightly patted my shoulder. In that instant, a sensation of relaxation washed over me. It felt as if I were falling into the sea. When I came to my senses, I was in that park. When I checked my watch, not much time had passed since I lost consciousness. For the time being, I couldn't stop trembling. Suddenly, I felt a tap on my shoulder from behind, and then the trembling stopped abruptly. The sweet aroma of tea wafted into my nose.